What's up, y'all? TBrown31 here with JaboctheGreat. Welcome back to The Last Word. Today, we're going to start our NBA coverage for the 2024-25 regular season. It just kicked off a couple of nights ago with the defending champions, Boston Celtics. They had a huge game against the Knicks. They came out with a 132-109 victory. And the shooting in this one for the Celtics was absolutely crazy. 29 three-pointers, just shy, breaking a record. They shot pretty poorly for the rest of the game. I think they missed like 13 straight at the end. But still, main takeaway from this game, and of course, we're going to say this a ton throughout the season, not one game is going to be that significant, but main takeaway, the Celtics, they look perfectly fine. Again, Porzingis is out, and they played so much the last year in the playoffs without him, so I think they look like they're firing all cylinders to start off with. No hate to the Knicks, but I mean, they just really couldn't survive that onslaught from three.
Yeah, shout out to Porzingis, Justin, in his best Peaky Blinders fit on the sideline there. Full like 3-piece, four-piece maybe, everything. Celtics look really good here, and for the Knicks, new look Knicks come in, hoping to make a big splash. And unfortunately, the Celtics decided for most of the game that they didn't want to miss any threes. And at a certain point, it's like, yeah, you can't do anything about that, right? You could defend the best if you're defending the best you can, and if you're scoring well, but they're hitting every single three. If a team sinks 29 threes against you, you're probably going to lose. That is the NBA record. They were one away from getting it. Missed 13 straight after hitting 29, which I don't even know how that happens. I'd like, come on, guys. Well, some of it was just sloppy. Like I've seen the point in I think the fourth quarter where Peyton Pritchard missed like 3 straight because he kept getting the rebound. And at a certain point, you gotta play basketball and let the 3 come naturally. But otherwise, yeah, Celtics look scary. It's 82 games to go, but they certainly look scary. I don't think it's panic time for the Knicks. You are likely not going to allow 29 threes in a game. But there's certainly some stuff here to look at with the new roster and hey, we got to improve from here. Staying in the Eastern Conference, we'll go over to my Bucks here. A good opening night, unfortunately a little tainted by who didn't play. But big for me, regardless of who wasn't on the other side of the court. Damian Lillard and Giannis both played in this game. They were healthy. They looked good. Dame put up 30, 6, and 9. Pretty good. Almost had a triple double, kind of getting close to one. He had 6 threes in this game. Shot 6 for 12, which is that's pretty good. Giannis had 25. He shot pretty well, 14 rebounds. Brook Lopez played well, but more importantly, I think also Taurean Prince played well. So pretty good year from the Bucks. No Embiid and no PG on the other side of the ball. Maxey played good. Kelly Oubre played good, but I think I was just happy to see Dame, Giannis, Taurean Prince, all those guys kind of come together and actually play well in this opening night for the Bucks here. Bobby Portis, a little bit of a tomfoolery game, but did end up with 16 points.
Yeah, my takeaway, Dame looked good, like you said, 30 points out there, 9 and 6, rebounds and assists. Giannis did his thing. We talk about these injuries, for the Sixers. We'll talk about the Clippers. You can talk about all these teams, but a team I'm really excited to see once we get down to the postseason, a long time away. Bucks, obviously they had. I mean, it's pretty much like every year now they have injuries in the playoffs. I mean, the one year that they all came together, really with no injuries, won the title. Every other year they have some kind of issue. So I'm excited to see. Obviously Chris Middleton's gonna be back. He'll be fine. Excited to see how that team looks. As the season goes on, with a full complement out there. For the Sixers, like you said, I mean, Embiid, he kind of straight up said, he's not going to be playing nearly as much as he used to, which really wasn't that much in the first place. But obviously, he came out and said that wasn't meant to be a shot. I'm just saying,
yeah,
he came out and said he's not going to be playing. He doesn't anticipate playing back-to-backs like that. I thought we would see him for the first game, PG too, but it is what it is. Still can't take anything away from the Bucks. It was a good win. And a good win for the Lakers, though, against the Timberwolves, 110-103. Like you said, Timberwolves debuted the same night as the Knicks. You got Julius Randle over there now. No Karl Anthony Towns. So, kind of like, obviously a new look for the Timberwolves here, especially with Cat having spent his entire career there. But, of course, big night for Anthony Davis. He came out there and absolutely did his thing. This is the AD I want to see every single game, 36 and 16 with 4 assists in there too. But of course, everybody's talking about the LeBron and Bronny moment. Cool moment for LeBron. Bronny came in, played a couple minutes. He registered 1 rebound. That was pretty much it there. Cool, but now that it's happened, let's move on.
Yeah, I think this is a good opening night, right? You come in and you probably steal this one from the Timberwolves. I don't think the Lakers are a bad team by any means, but I think Timberwolves were just almost in the finals last year. They're a pretty good team. They lose Cat, which is big, but add some shooting, add a little bit of a little more aggression with Julius Randle. But you do start the season with your kind of classic regular season Julius Randle game where he's not quite to all-star form quite yet. Was last year. Took a few games to get up there. But you also get stuff like Ant goes 10 for 25 in this one. And on the other side of the ball, AD plays, peak AD the best he can, gets 36 points. I mean, you can't really be upset about that. Bronny comes in for a second, get the nice father-son thing out of the way in game 1, and you get a win. So Dalton Connect, not doing as much as he did in the preseason offensively, but he did play 16 minutes, which is, I think, kind of impressive for this roster. Maybe some questions about D'Lo, but I think I was going to have that. He went 1 for 7 from 3. Austin Reeves went 0 for 5 from 3. Interesting game. These two teams played a good basketball game, but struggled a little bit. But I think really impressive for the Lakers to come out and for AD to look that good. Should put a lot of Lakers fans' worries, I'm sure, as you just said, yours, to rest for at least a little bit. Go from here. We're gonna have some unfortunate and some. I don't know if the second one is as unfortunate or just kind of silly. First one's unfortunate for the Pelicans and for DeJounte Murray. The Pelicans look great in their debut. They start off in a battle with the Bulls. They ended up winning 123 to 111. Brandon Ingram looked good. Lonzo was playing in an NBA game here. Everything was going pretty well for the Pelicans here to kind of get this new look offense on track. Right, you got Ingram playing well. You have CJ McCollum actually playing as if he likes basketball. All while you don't have Zion in on this one. So I think also like every Pelican played in this game, except for Zion. And the issue here is that DeJounte Murray goes down and fractures his hand. We don't have a timeline yet on his return. He shot a little rough in this game, 4 for 15, but he did put up 14 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, close to a triple-double there in his first 30 minutes as a Pelican. It does suck to play. He played 30 minutes, and they won by 12 points, and he comes away with a fractured hand. So definitely not going to be a quick recovery. I'm sure we'll see him, maybe before the season's over, but that's a tough one for Pelicans fans. My dad lives down in New Orleans. Not super happy about that one. Great trade for the Pelicans. We talked about that. I think they definitely won that trade, but that makes it a little tough when you immediately lose them in the opening night in a game where you're already up and winning. The other thing we'll mention here is a big debut for a rookie, Zach Edey, and Memphis. Everyone's been excited to see John Morant and Zach Edey play basketball together. I'm included in that. I'll be happy about that. And yet, the bigger star in this game was Santi Aldama, who has been playing with the Grizzlies. Unfortunately, Zach Edey plays 15 minutes, goes 2 for 4, 1 for 5 from the free throw line, and fouls out in 15 minutes. I'm not really sure why the Grizzlies didn't monitor him a little better and keep him from doing that. On the positive side, the Grizzlies win this game by 2 against the Jazz. Desmond Bane looks good, John Morant looks good, Santi Aldama looks good. You got the team is playing well. You survive a 30 bomb from Larry Markkinen and 10 from every other Jazz player. So it's a good game for the Grizzlies, but it is interesting to watch Zach Edey, who had an issue with this in college, immediately debut and foul out in 15 minutes. I can't continue if the Grizzlies want to win the finals. But Terrence and I talked about before the draft, how will Zach Edey transition to the NBA? Is his play style going to be a bit of an issue? And in game 1 against another kind of physical-ish team, Zach Edey fouls out immediately.
Yeah, the man just got to stay on the court. I mean, I think he will eventually be, I want to say pretty good. I mean, we never know. I think he'll be a good player eventually, but yeah, obviously fouling out in like 15 minutes is insane. But with these games, here with the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, being able to see Lonzo Ball back out there,
yeah,
definitely happy for that. I mean, it's been a long time since he's been out there. I mean, it's been a tough road for him. So like to see him out there. And then same thing, like you said, John Morant being up back out there now. Because, obviously he got suspended. Then he, came back and got injured. So it's like, obviously the first part, I mean, that's his own fault. But injury, that's just a tough break for a guy trying to come back. So hopefully, he's able to stay healthy and be out there. Because when he's on the court, man, like, dude's electric. And I do want to point out, at least for the Pelicans, unfortunate that, like you said, DeJounte Murray, we don't know how long he's going to be out. But Zion, at least, nothing to do with like an injury. He was out sick. Like literally, he was out with an illness. So, like, no big deal. He'll be good to go on Friday. So, I'm glad to see Zion back out there as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys returning in just these couple games. But we're gonna look forward to next couple days. Oddly enough, you still got some teams that hadn't played. So some teams debut tonight. You got Thunder Nuggets tonight. You got Mavs Spurs tonight as well. None of these teams have played yet. So kind of excited to see how those teams stack up so far. Obviously Wemby, everybody expecting him. He's probably gonna be the most hyped up player coming into the season. We're expecting him to take such a huge leap. Where he'll end up, maybe even MVP, possibly. We'll see. But even throughout the weekend, you got Clips Nuggets, so that's going to be a good one. Kawhi not being there, kind of rough. I mean, not saying it's his fault, it's just kind of rough that this still just happens with Kawhi so much, but that's just kind of his condition with his knees at this point. And then Lakers Suns, so that should definitely be a fun one. And a game that you decided to pick, Wizards Celtics. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
I was just thinking about like we haven't seen every team play so far, right? And so we do have these big juggernauts. Thunder and Nuggets are going to debut tonight. Mavericks and Spurs. I don't know if I'd call the Spurs a juggernaut at this moment, but those two teams are going to have their debut. We'll get to see Clay. We'll get to see Chris Paul over there in San Antonio. Right. Those are big moments for a debut. And then who else debuts in about 20 minutes from the time of recording? The Wizards get their season debut against who? The Celtics, who just hit 29 threes against the Knicks. I can't really imagine why the NBA would schedule it that way. Looking at it, I just kind of think like maybe the NBA is just committing to the fact that Washington looks like they could be one of the worst teams in the league, and they're just throwing them at a brick wall immediately to start the season. The Knicks defense is pretty solid, and they still allowed 132 points, 29 threes. I would not call the Washington defense solid. Right, they added Jonas Valanciunas. He's a good offensive center. I've watched him play basketball live. He's a great rebounder. He's not the most amazing defender. Kyle Kuzma has his moments. Jordan Poole, I would not call great defensively. Can be great offensively. This could be funny. It could be the funniest day 2 upset for the Celtics possible, or it could just be a opening day for the Wizards that goes incredibly wrong. Considering what the Celtics just did to the Knicks. So I had to pick this game for this video just because of what the Wizards are having to do on their first night. So otherwise, I'm happy to see Thunder and Nuggets debut, ready for the Mavs and Spurs to play. And then the 2 LA games coming up this weekend, I think are going to be pretty fun. Lakers Suns should be star-studded battle, and then Clippers and Nuggets, you get Russell Westbrook going back to LA in that one, and playing against LA in that one. So yeah. All games should be good. Maybe the Wizards and Celtics can be good. I mean, the Pistons, one thing about them last year, were feisty. They were feisty again against the Pacers last night. But I think I just had to pick that one to note that, a lot of these teams got to debut in situations that were somewhat favorable, unless you maybe, Portland debuts against Golden State and gets blown up. But a lot of these teams, on paper, it was a good situation for a debut. Charlotte and Houston, had a pretty good game. I think the only example here where the paper doesn't really work out is Cleveland just beat up Toronto. But so I felt like all these games were kind of in the same stratosphere, and then the Wizards just get left out, and then randomly on the first Thursday they're like, why don't you guys play the Celtics to start your season? So we'll see how that goes. Boston is favored by like 14 points, which is crazy for an NBA game, but probably valid.